right now. The BCS standings are causing a lot of consternation in this state, with Florida State above Miami despite Miami beating Florida State. Rich Waltz, Don McPherson, despite all the BCS controversy, Butch Davis has kept the Hurricanes very focused. How's he done it?
Well, he's told his team to worry only about yourselves. This is a talented football team that has their destiny in their own hands.
Should they worry about Pittsburgh? Pitt comes in at 5-3, and those 3 losses, I think you can call them quality losses.
Well, Pitt is a better team than their record shows. A double overtime loss at the Carrier Dome to Syracuse, and then playing Virginia Tech to a field goal, and then the mystery game. They just didn't show up against North Carolina. They're going to have to show up today.
Donnie and I have shown up. It's number 2 Miami and Pitt. First, the game day crew.
They are outraged at what they consider a tainted ballot. The trailing opponent has won the popular vote, but still trails his bitter rival in the chase for the ultimate prize. Right now, let's join a spokesperson for the Miami delegation and get his thoughts on what he claims is a confusing and erroneous ballot.
Regardless of the BCS, Miami is climbing with wins over Florida State and Virginia Tech in the polls, number 2. Today, another primary. Pittsburgh is dangerous with big play capability. Ken Dorsey and Miami are back. The swagger has returned, and in the eye of the Hurricanes, the ultimate prize. The Orange Bowl in Miami. The Panthers of Pitt at 5-3. The number 2 Miami Hurricanes. Number 2, that is, in the polls. In the BCS standings, Miami trails Florida State despite having beaten Florida State earlier this year. Hi, everyone. I'm Rich Waltz, and welcome to the Orange Bowl. If you think presidential voters in this state are confused, football fans are as well, especially in this city. They feel that they've won the popular vote, and they should be in the Electoral College. We call the BCS the number 2 team in the country. But Florida football fans know a good thing when they see it. And today, they and you will get to see 2 of the top receivers in the country, and they're both from the city of Miami. With the first, here's Don McPherson.
Rich, I watched Miami wide receiver Santana Moss in warm-ups, and he is an explosive wide receiver. He reminds me a lot of Sterling Sharp. He's got the power and the speed. He does it all for Miami. He returns kicks, he does the reverse, and last week against Virginia Tech, 2 big touchdown catches. He is an outstanding, explosive wide receiver. But for more on the other wide receiver from the city of Miami, let's go over to Holly Rowe.
Pittsburgh's Antonio Bryant is from Miami, just a few miles down the road at Northwestern High School. He's just a sophomore, and this is his first appearance back in the Orange Bowl in his career other than high school. He's the number 1 receiver in the country, though, and he was overlooked by every school in the state. That's why he's at Pittsburgh, and he's looking to have a tremendous breakout game here today. He's coming off a game where he had 212 yards last week against North Carolina. He may be the best receiver in the country.
And boy, would he like to make a big splash back at home. It's number 2 Miami, and it's Pittsburgh. First, we head to the studios. Reese Davis.
All right, Rich, John Makovic is here with me. And, Coach, we have 13 teams that potentially can clinch either conference crowns or division titles within their conference. Some of them need a little help. Some can do it outright. You like to call this championship time, don't you?
Oh, this is crunch time. If you think the presidential candidates have a little pressure on them, this is the toughest week in college football for coaches, because they're fighting to keep their jobs, they're fighting for bowl games, they're fighting to get into the conference championship game. And next week, a lot of this will be over. The ballots will be in, so to speak. But this week, I think we're going to really feel the coaches and watch them today as they have to make tough decisions.
And none of them will be willing to make concession speeches either, I would wager. Not at this point. We've got a full lineup here on ESPN2. John and I will be here with the accurate College Football Today scoreboard immediately following Pittsburgh and Miami. Then women's soccer, Canada and USA. They say it's a friendly. Things will turn decidedly more hostile when number 20 Colorado State, one of those teams that can clinch an outright division title or a conference title in the Mountain West, taking on Air Force. And then we'll move to the SEC, LSU and Ole Miss, still with designs on the SEC West crown. We'll have that for you at 9 o'clock Eastern time from Oxford. Coming up right now, supernatural and smooth, he is Santana. Moss and the Canes coming.
The Orange Bowl in Miami, home of the Hurricanes, number 2 in the country right now against Pittsburgh. Butch Davis has taken this program from the depths of NCAA sanctions to the number 2 spot in the country. And they're on quite a roll right now at 7-1. Walt Harris is trying to rebuild the program at Pittsburgh. And this year he's at 5-3. These next 2 weeks crucial to this Pittsburgh program at 2-2 in the Big East. And against Miami he's 1-2. Has not won down here in Florida. The weather was a concern for Pittsburgh, and Don McPherson, 75 degrees and a slight breeze, but the humidity is not that bad. I think that's a break for the Panthers.
Yeah, just walking around on the field a moment ago, Rich, it was nice and calm down there. The wind is picking up just a little bit, making it very comfortable.
Pittsburgh won the toss, deferred. Miami will receive. And we are underway. Darrell Jones. And Jones is out to the 22-yard line. Miami takes over. Ken Dorsey as a starter. He is 10-1. And he's averaging 46 points a game as a starter. His offense is quite a powerful tool right now. We told you about some of the weapons in Santana Moss, but on the other side, Reggie Wayne is a quality wide receiver. He's an all Big East quality receiver. And he's more of a possession type receiver. He's a smart guy, and he holds the record for number of starts for a receiver here. James Jackson behind Najee Davenport. And it's Jackson who stumbles to the 23-yard line. Mike White made the stop for Pittsburgh. Walt Harris couldn't stop talking about these 2 offensive tackles, McKinney and Gonzalez. He loves these guys. Yeah, and both of these guys did an outstanding job against Virginia Tech. The quality offensive line who give Dorsey plenty of time. And they must watch Brian Knight, one of the best pass rushers in the country, 9.5 sacks this year. And he's a guy who knows how to come off the edge real strong, so they'll keep an eye on him. Pittsburgh must get pressure on Dorsey. Moss in motion. Jackson the carry. And he's stopped at the 24-yard line. The Pittsburgh defense is ranked 3rd in the Big East. They have 3 quality linebackers, not a senior among them. Amir Purifoy in the middle. Beinecke gets the start, and Gerald Hayes on the outside. This is the question mark for Pittsburgh. Their secondary, and especially their corner. Shante Spencer is a freshman. Sean Robinson, a sophomore. That's not good when you're going against Miami. No, it's not good, and they're not as fast as those Miami receivers, so they have a huge task today. Miami faced with 3rd down and 7. Here comes a blitz. Dorsey completes it. It's caught out to midfield. A sliding Reggie Wayne with a first down. And Rich, this is the speed factor that we talk about with these Miami wide receivers. These guys are just explosive off the ball. One-on-one on Spencer, giving him plenty of room. And I tell you what, Spencer doesn't make that tackle. Wayne's off to the races. It's a touchdown. There was no help over the middle. Pittsburgh blitzing. And in talking to Paul Rhodes, their defensive coordinator, he said, boy, if you blitz Miami, you can get hurt. And there's proof. Jackson getting outside. And Jackson's inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Corey Humphreys made the stop. 15 yards on the carry for James Jackson, who last week against Virginia Tech went for 145 yards. And they have some very, we talk about the receivers and the speed of the receivers, but these running backs, Davenport and Jackson both, and then Portis, if he gets a shot today, are all outstanding and very fast on the corners. First drive of the ball game, number 2 Miami on the move. That one is dropped. Darrell Jones was the intended receiver. And it's incomplete. A low throw. Ken Dorsey doesn't miss much, though. He's 57%. He really, he's a sophomore. People think he's been here longer than he was. He was a redshirt freshman last year. or a true freshman last year. He's really a redshirt freshman in terms of age right now.
And Butch Davis says he doesn't play at all like a freshman or a redshirt freshman. He's very poised.
This is start number 12 for Dorsey in his career. Jackson to the 36. Brian Beinecke made the stop. It was a disappointing loss last week for Pittsburgh against North Carolina. But both Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, and Walt Harris said the defense played very well last week. 3rd down and 9. Dorsey. Time sets up the screen. Jackson the catch, but a tremendous play to stop Jackson. Gary Urschler, a sophomore out of Pittsburgh, made a tremendous play. That could have been a big gain. He stops Jackson at the 38, and it's 4th down.
You know, he didn't really have a choice of not following the play action fake. He was getting swallowed up by an offensive tackle and just made a, like you said, an outstanding play, just staying with it.
Freddie Capshaw, the punter. It's a fake, and Capshaw's going to throw it, and it's deflected and incomplete. So the Hurricanes gamble with a fake punt, and it's broken up. Amir Purifoy got a hand on it, and Pittsburgh takes over.
Boy, if Capshaw looked down the field, he had Andre King, a backup wide receiver, going down the middle of the field wide open. He chose to go to Shockey. Right in the middle of the screen. Here's Andre King right here, wide open in the middle of the field. They don't give those punters enough time to read coverages.
John Turman for Pittsburgh swings it out to Lou Polite, and Polite is out to the 43-yard line. A look at Turman now. He's a senior, and he's a good one. In fact, his quarterback rating is quite high, 56%, 16 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. And we told you about Antonio Bryant. Well, Lateef Grimm is the Panthers equivalent of Reggie Wayne. He's a quality guy. If you spend too much time on Bryant, Grimm will beat you.
And Bryant and Grimm make up the best receiving tandem in the nation.
And there's a quick throw to Antonio Bryant, who played in this stadium for Northwestern High School here in Miami. The offensive line is a real question mark. Don, last week 6 sacks. They've given up 32 this year. That's the worst in the Big East. Miami doesn't have a real big pass rush, but Jamal Green on the edge could have a big day.
And with the troubles they had against North Carolina last week, Jamal Green knows he can get to the corner.
And a new quarterback, Rod Rutherford, is in the game. And he'll hand it off to his running back, Kevin Barlow, the run. So we see Rod Rutherford, and in comes John Turman. What is this, Donnie, a Minnesota flashback?
Exactly right. It's a lot like what Minnesota does in bringing in Abdul Khalik, a mobile guy who not only does he come in and give you an added dimension, but he also makes the defense think, and that's what Walt Harris is doing early.
Turman is a classic drop-back passer at 6'4", 220. And he's back in the game on 2nd and 7. Turman with time. Over the middle, man open, and he overthrew Lateef Grimm. He was wide open. Miami linebackers, the number you should remember. Well, heck, if you watch the game, it'll be burned in your memory bank today. Dan Morgan, number 44. He is a Butkus Award finalist. And the senior is quite a football player. Great secondary on the out. 18 interceptions for the secondary, and Al Blades is their leader.
Al Blades brings the Blades legacy back to Miami. Younger brother of Benny Blades, an outstanding All-American free safety.
Here's a look at Dan Morgan, the middle linebacker. Hurricanes show blitz. Turman, lots of time, dropped. Antonio Bryant who did not have a good game against Miami last year. And he drops this one.
Rich, Pittsburgh cannot afford these kinds of mistakes early. Wide open, Bryant has to pull that ball down. They're not going to get too many of these opportunities as this game goes on.
Here's an opportunity with Andy Lee getting set to punt. An opportunity for Miami because Santana Moss is deep and they hit the punter. Flag is down and the ball bounces out of bounds. The question is it a 5-yard, which would not be a first down, or a 15-yard, which is automatically a first down?
I think they'll get the 15-yard type because 2 or 3 guys ran into him.
Personal foul, and Jim McConaughey says that's 15 yards, though Butch Davis doth protest.
I don't know if he said doth.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker on the defense. First down.
You see why you get the 15-yarder. When you get 2 or 3 guys running into him, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in the area, and they took him out pretty good. Again, Rich, Pittsburgh is getting yet another opportunity. They missed Latif Grimm on the deep route over the middle, then the drop by Bryant, and now a penalty that gives them more life. They have to take advantage of these mistakes and these opportunities early.
Panthers have to be happy with the fact that they've been able to give John Turman time, though, to find those receivers. 1st and 10 at the Miami 32. Turman again with time. Overthrows his man. It's incomplete. Lou Polite. Rather, it was Chris Wilson, the tight end, the intended receiver. 2nd down and 10. John Turman grew up in Walnut Creek, California, which is the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. He went to junior college at Los Medanos Junior College. And the interesting thing about Turman is he played high school football about 15 minutes away from Ken Dorsey, the starting quarterback for Miami, who played at Miramati High School in Orinda, California. It's also in the East Bay. And here they are in the Orange Bowl in a very important Big East battle. Dustin Pachotti, the carry. Dan Morgan in on the stop. Third down now. There's a look at Ken Dorsey. Different paths for these quarterbacks. Dorsey was highly recruited out of high school, while Turman went from high school to junior college and had a great junior college career. 3rd down. Here comes the blitz. Turman. Picked off. It's intercepted. Philip Buchanan. He's 20. He's in. Touchdown, Miami. It's the 6th time this year Miami has taken an interception back for a touchdown. Buchanan and I think a few of his mates were flagged for celebration.
And that's part of that Miami swagger that you talked about earlier, Rich. These guys are talented. They went into the end zone, dancing into the end zone. That's going to make a long point after kick.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. Punts are good on the force on the extra point.
Rich, this is a Miami team that just has so much speed on all sides of the field, and that's why they return these interceptions for touchdowns.
That's the 11th non-offensive touchdown. And you know what? It cost them a point. Butch Davis is not happy about that. The Miami Hurricanes have come up big on defense again. And Miami, number 2 in the country, on the board first against Pittsburgh. 6-0, number 2 Miami on top of Pittsburgh. And for the Panthers, a disastrous screenplay, which turned into 6 points.
And it was really a scramble by Turman. See, he can't see the corner right now, Buchanan, because he's shaded by the pass rush. So Buchanan comes literally out of nowhere for Turman. And you don't think Miami wants this game. You don't think they want to prove something to the people at the BCS. Look at Damian Lewis, 92 right there, no helmet. What's he do? He goes down the field and makes a block for Buchanan. That's a great hustle by the headless defensive lineman.
Well, helmetless at least. There's a look at Turman. John Turman was pulled from last week's game, but it had nothing to do with his performance. He's diabetic, and he was sick most of the week going into North Carolina. He had to take IVs at halftime, and Walt Harris felt that he just wasn't right physically. That's Rod Rutherford, who is the backup quarterback, returns the kick out to the 19.
Rich Anderson comes, Damian Lewis comes from the other side of the field. Just a tremendous hustle by this kid.
First and 10 for the 18. Barlow runs into Morgan at the 21-yard line.
Rich, that time Pittsburgh went to 4 wide receiver set and then ran Barlow up the middle. They're trying to mix things up and give Miami different looks offensively. Where they're going to win is if they stay in their basic set and execute. They had some opportunities in their first drive. They have to execute.
That's what that guy does best. Dan Morgan. Lou Poli now to the 24-yard line. Dan Morgan has made a lot of tackles in his career, and with that tackle he has just passed George Myra Jr. for first all-time in Miami history. He is a Butkus Award finalist. Keith Adams of Clemson, Rocky Kalmus of Oklahoma are the other finalists. Third down. Turman caught at the 40-yard line. Lamar Slade, a 15-yard pickup. First down, Panthers.
And with this wide spread out offense that Pittsburgh's given them, it's giving the Pittsburgh wide receivers zone coverage in the secondary. That's a switch route. It's an old run and shoot play where the receivers just switch on the motion when they're in the trips formation or the twins formation.
Whatever happened to the run and shoot?
Oh, they put up a lot of points, but people figured out they can't run the ball against it or with it, so they threw it out.
Turman a quick throw, and it's dropped. Lamar Slade couldn't hold it. We have a whole bunch of football for you on ESPN and ESPN2. Starting at 4 Eastern, number 14 Ohio State taking on Illinois, number 20 Colorado State and Air Force tonight on ESPN2 at 6 Eastern. And then Georgia against Auburn, number 13 against number 23. That's on ESPN. LSU and Ole Miss tonight on ESPN2 at 9 Eastern. ESPN, ESPN2, your home for college football on the internet. Second down 10. Look out. Turman was hit, but he got the throw away, and Lateef Grimm made the catch. First down, Pittsburgh.
You know, with the exception of the interception, but Turman, he has been very accurate with the football. He's had 2 drops so far, but he's been very accurate with the football. And they're spreading Miami out right now offensively.
Mike Rumpf putting on the pressure. on first down to the 44-yard line. We check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Rich, a couple of Big East teams looking for that other bowl spot, bowl eligibility. Syracuse and Temple. Cuse. That's a punt block. Mike Schaefer does. Kyron Johnson knocking it out. The Owls, no more room for error. They're up 2-0.
Johnny, that's your old team and your old stadium.
That's right. It's an old baseball score. 2-0. See if Temple can hang on. R.J. English, who has rotated all year long with the starting 2 wide receivers, is out for this game. That's why we've seen Lamar Slade in there. Barlow goes nowhere. Right now, Pittsburgh can't run the football. Damian Lewis made the stop. A torn ACL. He's out for the season. Pittsburgh is not real deep. When you rebuild a program, it takes you 4, 5, 6 years to build that depth up. And they are going to miss R.J. English today as they try to spread Miami defense out. They've already used 4 wide receivers on a number of occasions, so that loss of R.J. English is going to cost them and hurt them later in this ballgame. Quiet day for Bryant so far. 1 catch, 1 drop. Turman. Bryant, and the ball may have been tipped. Or else Turman just threw a duck. And it's incomplete. 4th down, Pittsburgh. Donnie, what happened there? Well, Turman has got to keep his feet underneath him and follow through on the throw. I'm not quite sure what Walt Harris is talking to him about, but you see so many men coming. It's man coverage down the field. It may have gotten tipped. I don't think he just followed through on the football and just pulled the string on it. Santana Moss. And Pittsburgh will cover it inside the 3-yard line. Good special teams work by the Panthers, and a nice punt by Andy Lee, 43 yards. 6-0 Miami.
EN2's presentation of college football is brought to you by 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, and by Red Zone from Old Spice. Intense protection for intense people.
Well, it's mid-November, and this sure doesn't feel like college football. Close to 80 degrees right now. 6-0. Number 2 Miami on top of Pitt. Jackson outside to the 8-yard line. And that's where that run will end. John, I think if you're looking for an upset in this ball game, there are some signs. Pittsburgh's offense has had open receivers, they've had drop balls, and they stopped Miami's offense on that first series. There are some promising signs for Pittsburgh. You're exactly right. The receivers have been running open. It looks like the Miami secondary is having a little bit of problems with all the different sets they're throwing at them. Jackson to the 11. And it will bring up 3rd down and about 2. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
The offensive coordinator for Miami, Larry Coker, has been around some pretty good backs. Barry Sanders at Oklahoma State, Eddie George at Ohio State, and Edgerrin James here at Miami. He made a tape the last couple of weeks for James Johnson and said, this is how these guys finish the run. He said that's the thing that they have done the best in their career, and so he wants Jackson to keep pumping those legs hard at the end of the runs. He's done that on his last 2 carries.
And Holly, I think Jackson wants to be included on that tape in about 3 or 4 years when Coker shows it to his next running back. This one ends up about the 13-yard line. Brian Beinecke made the stop, and Miami may be short of the 1st down here. I think they are short. And this is, again, you mentioned the Pittsburgh defense stepping up. This is an impressive stop so far. Here's a look at James Jackson, the senior out of Belgrade, Florida. And the Hurricane punt team comes on. So Pittsburgh defense should get the ball back in a good spot. Now flags go down. Movement up front. With that quick change, you're probably going to get a procedure penalty against Miami.
Dead ball. Ball start. on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
And Butch Davis is acting about the deking when players are not allowed, defensive players are not allowed to give a false move that's designed to pull people off sides.
Capshaw. Whoa, just got it away. No flags. This is Antonio Bryant, and he goes down at the 42-yard line. Pittsburgh will have it at their own 42. In the Orange Bowl, looking for an upset. 57 yards on the kick, no flag. The swagger is back, so to speak. 6-0, number 2 Miami on top of Pitt.
I've never seen cheerleaders wearing shades.
They're cool cheerleaders.
Only in Miami.
Ken Dorsey on the bench because Pittsburgh has the ball now, and John Turman takes over. A little lead option. Barlow. That's the best running play that the Panthers have had today, and he's out close to midfield. 7-yard pickup. Barlow is a guy they'll throw the ball to, and he's averaging 81 yards per game on the ground. The man that has the big play today, Philip Buchanan, made the stop.
And I love these games in November when coaches pull out all the stops. John Turman running the option. This is something they only do in November.
Turman at 6'4", 220. A look at Barlow. He's had a good year. And they'll hand it to the big fullback, Dustin Pachotti. To the 49. He'll lose a yard. Miami is good against the run and good against the pass. And you look at Morgan right there, only 113 yards a game on the ground, and there's a big reason why. 44.
And I'm very surprised that Pittsburgh right now is running the ball as much as they've had. They've had people open in the pass game.
Third down. Turman caught. He had a man wide open, and a big bruising hit by Chris Wilson after the catch. Pittsburgh has had men open consistently here in the first quarter, Don McPherson.
That 4 wideout set, and that time it was Wilson, the backup tight end, out in the flex position, has given Miami fits. Wilson will come in from the left side of the screen. Great protection by the offensive line for Pitt. No one within yards of Wilson. Trust me, the defensive coaches right now upstairs from Miami are going nuts.
Turman, a quick throw and a catch at the 28-yard line. Antonio Bryant made the catch. His second of the day. It was a classic when we watched it, Donnie, and it's an instant classic, so we can watch it again on ESPN Classic. Last Saturday, the Michigan Wolverines, the Wildcats of Northwestern, and one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen in a college football game. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Wednesday. Call 1-800-CLASSIC.
And there could be no better name than Instant Classic. I was in the airport in Chicago.
I was in Minnesota airport.
Unbelievable excitement in the airport. Everyone watching this great finish.
Barlow on a draw goes nowhere. Dan Morgan with yet another stop. He's in on just about every stop the Hurricanes make. And the Hurricane defense has Miami on top. Number 2 Miami leads Pitt 6-0.
Louis.
Number 2 Miami on top of Pittsburgh as we start the second quarter. 6-0 downtown Miami. Isn't that convenient? The national championship will be not right here in the Orange Bowl, but up at Joe Robbie in the Orange Bowl. Third down and 6. And the blitz is on the way. Turman to the sidelines. It's caught at the 21. And the officials say catch. Lamar Slade, the sophomore out of Yorktown, Virginia, in front of Mike Rumpf.
And Slade did exactly what you're supposed to do on a close call, Rich. Stand up and stop politicking.
Sell it.
That's
now,
right.
That's a bad word in this area, Don. Don't say that.
Well, nice break on the ball by Rump. And Slade protects it with his body. That's a smart play by Slade to fall in and protect the football with his body.
And the Panthers have driven to the Miami 21 on first down. Turman over the middle. Caught by Latif Grimm. And he's close to the first down. Edward Reed made the stop, and Turman took another hit. And we head to the studios. Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Rich, East Carolina trying to become bowl eligible against Houston. This is Keith Stokes. Boy, you just don't see enough of the old spin move anymore, do you? Try the left side. Oh, yeah, I remember the wall set up on the right. 59 yards. He'll take it back to the house, and East Carolina added another touchdown. They're up on Houston 14-0.
Thanks, Reese. Right now, Pittsburgh on the move. First and goal, just inside the 10. John Turman. Quick throw and another catch at the 4. Latif Grimm. And now Turman's receivers are starting to catch the ball.
And you know what? The Miami defensive secondary is giving them a lot of room. I'm surprised down here inside the 20-yard line. Walt Harris's offense, you see he's starting to throw that ball a lot more. Get rid of those run plays, Walt. Throw the football. You're doing well with it.
Second and goal. Turman's 5 of 5 on this drive. Scrambling, in trouble, and goes down to the 4. Jamal Green, the sophomore out of Camden, New Jersey, made the stop, and so Pitt is faced with third down and goal. David Priestley, number 11. Rod Rutherford, number 12, surrounding Harris. Third down and goal. Turman. Caught, touchdown, Chris Wilson. And Pittsburgh ties the game.
John Turman has come back from that interception and very cool and methodically goes down the football field. Nothing fancy, throwing the ball accurately down the field.
Remember, Miami missed an extra point, which was actually about a 42-yard extra point because of the taunting call after their touchdown. So Pittsburgh with an opportunity to take the lead, and they do. Nick Lotz adds the point. Butch Davis and the number 2 Miami Hurricanes at home, but down by a point. Pittsburgh on top.
Back in Miami, where Pittsburgh leads Miami 7-6, and here's the reason why. Here's Wilson, the tight end. He's one-on-one with a defensive back, Reed. Reed does not challenge Wilson, and he gives Wilson a simple little out route, wide open for the touchdown. The Miami secondary needs to be more aggressive, especially down inside the 5-yard line.
Chris Wilson, his second touchdown of the year. And so the Panthers have a 7-6 lead. Darrell Jones. Jones out to the 32-yard line. And Miami will have it on 1st and 10. We check in with Holly Rowe.
Guys, we asked the coaches yesterday if being number 2 in the country has given Miami its swagger back. The coaches said the older players have done a nice job keeping the younger players humble. But the last 2 drives down the field, I'm seeing a lot of talking. The secondary for Miami taunting the receivers of Pittsburgh. They started making big plays. Maybe they need a little more humility right now.
They could have used it on that interception return. It cost them a point. Dorsey. Nice catch. Jeremy Shockey, the tight end, right near midfield. And a good throw on the move by the sophomore quarterback.
Shockey's a tight end, they say, is a wide receiver impersonating a tight end. He's a lot like Kevin Wilson for Pittsburgh. He's not that big of a guy, runs great routes, and has tremendous hands.
Jackson. A step or 2 from a big one. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Rich, in the SEC, Scottsfield and Starkville, Mississippi State and Alabama, Dogs on the move. DeCenzo Miller. Boy, nobody home for the Tide defense. Dogs up 7-0 halfway through the first. Tennessee by the same score over the Hogs. Casey Clausen to David Martin.
All right, Reese, Miami on the move. 2nd and 4. Dorsey, a quick throw. Caught by Moss. To the 32. William Ferguson made the stop. And Moss finally gets a touch.
Rich, we did a lot of talking about these wide receivers on both sides of the football. Both of these teams have great receivers. And the Pittsburgh secondary has given Moss so much room, so much respect. They can't take that chance. He has the ability in the open field to make you pay.
A look at Moss. Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator for Pitt, told us we have to keep Moss in front of us. But that doesn't keep him from making big plays. Jackson out of bounds.
The secondary was lined up about 25 yards off the ball.
That'll do it.
He was in front of them. Surprised they can see him from how deep they were.
Pitt has had some close calls this year. The 3-point loss on the road to Virginia Tech. Michael Vick played almost exactly a half of that game. He came out with a few seconds left in the first half. And Virginia Tech won on a late field goal. Dorsey unloads and it's incomplete. Najee Davenport couldn't hold on.
And Pitt's going to take their chances with blitzes and pressures. That time they brought Williams off the corner, the outside linebacker, and put him right in Dorsey's face and didn't allow him to set his feet and get his pass off.
So it's 3rd down and 9. 1 of 3 today. Just about in field goal range. Lots of time for Dorsey. A bullet, flags follow. Reggie Wayne was the intended receiver. And he went down in a heap.
And you're going to get Ferguson in the corner going over the top of Reggie Wayne. Pretty good coverage by Ferguson, but that's the penalty right there. He didn't anticipate Reggie Wayne making the break when he did. These Miami receivers will take the route deeper than most wideouts. Miami has been known for this over the years, of their receivers going 4, maybe 5 yards deeper than most teams where they break their route off. That time Reggie Wayne cut it off a little bit soon, and Ferguson was all over his back.
What does that do to a defensive back?
It drives them crazy because they're used to teams and receivers breaking at 12 or 15 yards. Miami will go to 18 yards or even 22 yards before they break their routes.
Jackson down to the 12. It's a big first down for the Hurricanes. Mark Punko in on the stop. On second down. Dorsey, Davenport, 5, out of bounds. Has the first down. It's first and goal, Miami.
Both of these secondaries are young. Here again, Williams, number 34 off the corner, forcing him to throw hot and then miss tackles. Pittsburgh cannot afford these kind of mistakes defensively. You have a chance to stop Najee Davenport, and not allow him to get the first down.
Jackson did not get in.
Jackson carries and is marked down close.
Rich, this is an impressive drive for the Pittsburgh defense. Let me tell you why. They're forcing Miami to go down the field methodically. Miami does not take a long time to score. They are a quick strike team, and right now Pitt is forcing them to go down the field methodically, something they're not used to. Miami may score here, but Pitt can take something out of this.
Dorsey straight ahead, he's in. Touchdown, Miami. And now the Hurricanes. Well, Donnie, do you go for 2 right now, or do you kick it and figure you're going to get a few more scores after this?
Well, I tell you, given the way that both of these teams have played, I would go for 2. Because it could come down that this game is a close game, and that 1 point will make a difference.
But maybe in Butch Davis's reasoning, 2 points isn't as assured as the 1, and so he takes the 1. 13-7, Miami on top.
Hurry, the sun. I can't handle this thing!
It's times like these I wish I had a Pontiac Grand Prix.
Nothing tracks the road quite like wide track handling.
Should we stop?
Not in this neighborhood. Wider is better. The Wide Track Grand Prix.
High-definition television, made possible by Panasonic.
Just a bit of magic. It's college hoops time, baby. I love it. Get ready for the season with my college basketball preview from ESPN the magazine. I'll give you my picks and pans for the run to March Madness. Pick it up on newsstands now. It'll be awesome, baby.
The Miami Hurricanes are whirling towards a shot at the national championship. Can Syracuse knock the wind out of them? Miami versus Syracuse at 6:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
ESPN2's presentation of college football is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. And by 989 Sports, only on PlayStation.
Plenty to do down here in Miami. Number 2 Miami on top of Pittsburgh, 13-7, as Pittsburgh tries to adjust to the heat. It's not easy for a northern team to come down here when you get into late October or into mid-November.
And surprisingly enough, Pittsburgh didn't get here until last night very late, but they're playing well. 9 plays, 3 minutes, 13 seconds. That's impressive for the Pittsburgh defense.
Rutherford, the big quarterback, Down to the 19-yard line. Down below, Holly Rowe.
Guys, that last series, that last drive took a lot out of this Pittsburgh defense, and they know it. They're exhausted. One of their players, White, number 97, came over and said, "Get off the field on third down." He kept screaming it over and over at his players because he knows that the longer they stay out there, the more they will not be able to battle this heat. The coaches said, catch your wind, get water, and stay off your feet. They're trying to preserve them and get their energy back.
Holly and Don, there's really no way for Pittsburgh to simulate this type of humidity up in Pittsburgh.
You can't do it in Pittsburgh, that's for sure.
Barlow to the 19-yard line. Remember how tough it used to be for teams to come in here? They won 58 straight games in this stadium. And obviously the great Miami teams were part of it, but playing in the heat and humidity is very much a part of that as well.
There's no question, especially playing in the Big East and playing teams who come from up north. It's a tough time to come down here when it's 40 degrees back home.
Rod Rutherford is in, and Rutherford running the option to the 20-yard line. Cornelius Green and Chris Campbell made the stop.
You know, the more I see it, the more I don't like it. Leave your starting quarterback in the ball game and win with him. John Turman did an excellent job in that last series of coming back after the interception, getting his rhythm back, being accurate with the football. His receivers made some key catches. They stick with your man and go with him.
And now he comes in a 3rd down and 10 hole. Intercepted. And it's Buchanan again. Well, Pat Buchanan got a few too many votes last week, and Philip Buchanan has a pair of interceptions.
I don't think there's any relation between the two. Zone coverage from Miami. They drop Morgan in the middle of your screen. Just too many orange jerseys out there for Turman.
Buchanan took the first one back 72 yards for a touchdown. And now Miami will try to add points to the turnover. Dorsey to the end zone. Caught and dropped and incomplete. No, it's a touchdown. One official has touchdown. Wait a minute. The Pittsburgh coaches can't believe it. And I think the officials are going to huddle up.
Well, one official calls the drop, but can't see the feet.
That's a drop, Donnie. He never had it. And you know what? The officials just did a great job. That is good work by this Big East crew.
That is great work by these officials and brave work by these officials to call it off. The feet are good, but he never catches the football. So one official's on the feet, the other one just sees the ball, knows it's a drop, doesn't call it.
And the one on the feet made the call touchdown.
Exactly.
And Butch Davis is upset because he saw a touchdown. But once Butch sees the film, he'll probably still be upset, but that's coaches.
That's right.
2nd down and 10.
He's not going to be any happier when he sees the film.
Moss on the reverse. He's caught and dropped. What a play by Mark Punko. Short of the first down. Punko, the junior, out of Delmont, Pennsylvania.
Rich, that was a big-time play by Ponko because Moss is just so dangerous. We talked about him in the open, his speed, tremendous speed. But watch Ponko just come right up the field. It's a bad angle, a dangerous angle for him to take because Moss has the speed to get around him. But once he got his hands on him, a great tackle in the open field.
3rd down 4. Up the middle, Clinton Portis with his first carry. And Clinton Portis is short of the 1st down. And Butch Davis is in the process of making a decision. And that decision is go for it.
Number 2. It's 4th down and 2.
Fourth down and 3. This isn't 4th and inches. This is 4th down and 3.
Which Butch Davis is playing for the points. That's why he makes this decision. Ken Dorsey doesn't see exactly what he wants, so he calls a timeout.
13-7, number 2 Miami with a decision to make and a 6-point lead.
Sundays mean adventure on OLN. Wild Survival with Corbin Burnson brings you true tales of terrifying ordeals in the outdoors. A forest fire forces a hiker into a race for his life. A climber careens down a mountain. And a teenager confronts a swimmer's ultimate nightmare. Find out how the will to live can make heroes out of everyday people. Wild Survival with Corbin Burnson on Adventure Sundays, 8 p.m. only on the Outdoor Life Network.
Movies, movies, new hit movies, 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 movies. For new hit movies, I wanna see stars.
Stars has more new hit movies in prime time. Movies you'll see first on Stars and only on Stars.
Just one of 12 commercial-free movie channels, only $10 more per month with your Total Choice package.
Your 2-minute drill begins now.
Which head coach led Nebraska?
Which Buccaneers fullback was
Which tennis phenom defeated Steffi Graf?
Which high schooler did the Clippers draft? Red Vaughn.
UNLV.
Joe Gibbs.
Correct.
Yes!
Test your sports knowledge by watching the Ultimate Sports Quiz Show.
What White Sox slugger's nickname is the Big Hurt?
Frank Thomas.
Correct.
Which Pittsburgh Steeler rushed?
What team lost to Duke on the last-second shot?
Charles Oakley. Cy Young. Don Sutton.
Florida.
ESPN's 2-minute drill. Have you got the answer? Mondays and Thursdays at 7.
Sophomore Todd Sievers, the place kicker for Miami. Inside the 40, he's a perfect 7 of 7 this year. And this would have been about a 30-yarder. Miami going for it on 4th down and 3. Portis in trouble, and he's not going to get it. Pittsburgh stops Miami again.
Well, you question the call by Butch Davis to go for it. They haven't been that effective in the run game. It's not an automatic. It's 4th and 3. It's a long 3 yards to get the first down. And just great pursuit by this Pittsburgh defense that Holly Rose said that they're getting a little winded. They've been on the field a long time. But watch the white shirts. Great pursuit. And Butch Davis sees his strategy just not work.
Now the Panthers with it, and they've got to be careful about it. Terman's throw is caught out at the 40-yard line. Latif Grimm. And Latif's got to be careful he doesn't get a flag.
Yeah, there's a lot of taunting going on both sides of the ball. Both of these teams are getting in each other's faces a little bit. But that was a big-time throw by John Terman. This is a seam post. It's not a thin post. And that ball's right on the money.
Bill Curry calls that the skinny post.
Skinny post.
I love it when he says that, too. 6 minutes left, first half. 13-7, Miami on top, Pittsburgh on the move. Nick Goings is out of bounds, and Nick Goings is out to the 41, and we're Goings to the studio. Reese?
Oh, King Segway, be still. Penn State and Michigan. Anthony Thomas. Wolverines came out with a little bit of a hangover after that Northwestern team. The offense is awake. A-Train's in there. Michigan on top. King Segway, 7-3.
That was the best throw all year.
You know what? It was a designed play. They brought Goings in because we knew we were headed to you, Reese. 13-7, Miami on top. Look at Turman's numbers. The one at the very end on the right is the bad one. 2 interceptions. Here comes the blitz. And a good call on the draw. But Luke Polai is out to the 43-yard line. Lots more college football coming up on ABC. Today, 1 Eastern, Oklahoma against number 24, Texas A&M. Number 9, Purdue against Michigan State. And then number 6, Washington against UCLA. That's at 4 Pacific. It all comes your way today on ABC. Number 1, Oklahoma. And did you see what Lee Corso put on?
No, I missed him today.
He put the Aggie hat on. Lee Corso called for the upset. 3rd down. Flags down. Play is dead. Procedure against Pittsburgh. Walt Harris is in his 4th year.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
He is known as a great mentor of quarterbacks. He was an assistant with the Jets. Also a litany of great colleges in his background: Ohio State, Tennessee, Illinois, Michigan State, Cal, and UOP. He played at the University of the Pacific in Stockton, California. Same place that produced Ron Turner of Illinois. Third down. Movement. Mark Brown, the left tackle, flinched. And that'll cost him 5 more.
About the only good thing that's happening here.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
And Brown's one of their veteran guys. And you know it's pass all the way. He's on that back foot. And the only good thing about this is that it's giving the Pittsburgh defense some time to rest on the sideline.
That's a good point.
Hey, you don't need to put a long drive together.
All right, it was 3rd down and 7. Now it's 3rd and 17. What does it do to the play call?
Well, I think you go with the same play call. You're not going to stretch the field an additional 10 yards on your routes.
Turman scrambling. Turman gets down to the 42. He's well short of the first down. Dan Morgan with his umpteenth tackle of the night. Hurricanes have had some trouble keeping the lids on. Now Walters has to pick up the helmet. And on 4th down, they're having some problems with the play clock. There's Santana Moss. He has taken 5 punts back for touchdowns in his career. He's averaging this year, look at the average, 19 a return.
Yeah, this is no time to get off the couch. This is the time to sit tight and watch this kid perform.
Miami has come close to a block today. Andy Lee. Moss from his 12 gets a good block and then runs out of room. Good coverage by Pittsburgh. There goes the helmet. Miami's on top.
Okay, DJ, I'm ready for you. What's the game?
I'll see boomerangs.
Boomerangs? I think I prefer football.
So what are you doing here?
I came here for the big juicy steaks. How about you?
I want that shrimp on the Barbie.
Let's go eat.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse.
they're back.
Aloha, sports fans. You're looking live at the Garage Invitational as Stoney steps to the green. Swing!
Oh, it's a nice swing there, Alice.
Yeah, does your husband play? Consolation prize. Thank you so much. I'm going to shoot lefty, guys. But you can't hit right. Oh, this will be fun. Come on, Mrs. Groundskeeper's going to be coming home soon. We got to get out of here. All right. Easy, guys. Give me the club.
Rain delay, Ice House style. Because sometimes all you need is a smooth, never watered down taste of Ice House. Enjoy.
Welcome to America Online, new version 6.0. The easiest just got even easier.
You just plug it in and you go.
With 6.0, all the best features are even better.
You've got mail.
Customer service is always there to help. Parental controls help safeguard our kids.
Nobody else has all these features.
It keeps me closer to my family and friends.
There's never been a better time to join.
6.0 is the best AOL ever.
America Online, new version 6.0. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call 1-800-4online now.
That's the new Miami Arena, which is built right next to the old Miami Arena. 13-7, #2 Miami on top. With the football at their own 21. Dorsey, Davenport, and he is wrapped up and dropped by Gerald Hayes, the sophomore linebacker out of Paterson, New Jersey. Let's go down below to Holly Rowe.
Guys, to follow up on Antonio Bryant's return to his hometown stadium, they have really taken him out of the game right now. Al Blades has been in his head, in his face all day talking to him. Every single play, every single down, they're talking to him. It seems like it's quite a distraction for him right now. He only has 2 catches for 11 yards. Not so bad politicking by the Hurricanes, I guess you'd say.
All right, that's the obligatory political slant. Second down. And Dorsey's throw is caught by Moss. Whoa, what a catch. Torrey Cox on the coverage, 39 yards. How do you cover this?
Well, it's a very difficult route to cover because you have 2 receivers on the same side, and they're going to cross each other about 12 yards down the field. That's a difficult route for corners to cover because you expect one guy to come out when the other guy goes in, and they both went in.
James Jackson the carry. He's inside the 35-yard line. To the studios, Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Rich, coming up at halftime, we'll take you down to Kyle Field, check out what's going on with the decibel level, and A&M has created the first break in the game against Oklahoma. Also in the Big Ten, that vaunted Northwestern offense struggling against Iowa, and Tommy Bowden to Alabama, forget it, staying put at Clemson.
You know, Reese, who was on the front page of the Alabama papers yesterday was Butch Davis. And he's all of a sudden at the top, or many people speculate, at the top of Alabama's wish list. Butch Davis has kind of sidestepped it and said, you know what, I don't know that I would leave this place for another college job. Which begs the question, maybe it's a pro job that is in the offing. 13-7, Miami on top.
Okay, you're next.
Yes, sir.
Get your hands in it. Get your hands in it. That's it.
We're gonna fight, fight, fight all day and night. Woo! Woo!
Okay, you made it. See you on game day.
Yes!
First and goal for Miami. So Larry Jones, he is at the guard. Touchdown, Miami!
Here's Walker, left side. Walker, Tom Walker will score. West Virginia has done it.
Here's the snap. The kick is away. It is good! Boston College wins!
Last play of the ball game. To the tight end, Brominski. He went down!
This kick is in the air. It is good! It is good! One of the greatest wins ever!
Let that celebration begin.
Butch Davis and number 2 Miami, a 13-7 lead. He told us yesterday, by no means are they looking past Pittsburgh.
They've played extremely well. They beat Penn State, which is a big in-state rivalry for them early in the year that really kind of energized and jump-started their season. They had a great win against Boston College, and our players, when you play against Florida State and you play Virginia Tech and you play Washington in the schedule, you know, our players know who the really good teams are, and they have a lot of respect for Pittsburgh.
A catch by Jeremy Shockey, but he was hit, fumbled the ball back. And we'll see where they spot it. The spot is important because they were looking at a first down. And they'll spot it at the 32-yard line. So it's 3rd down and 3. This is a similar area on the field where the last drive of the Hurricane died. Moss on a screen. And he's short of the first down. All right, Don McPherson. Butch Davis went for it on 4th down and 3 instead of a 30-yard field goal. Now, right now, Miami's looking at a much tougher distance, about 48 yards.
And with close to a minute and a half left in the half, they have to go for it. They put themselves in a hole, and they have to go for it. I shouldn't say they put themselves in a hole, but I think they feel like they have to get points, and they won't be satisfied with a field goal here.
Going to put it up. Caught by Moss. That's quite a catch. At the 27-yard line. First down, Miami. It stops the clock as they move the chains. Miami has 1 timeout left. Pittsburgh now has 2 left because they just burned 1. And Walt Harris wants to give his defense a chance to catch their breath.
And it's a good timeout for that very reason. Santana Moss, great speed, great moves, also great hands. That's a close call because the ball was actually underneath him, but he has his hands on it. The ball does hit the ground.
You get that hand underneath it, they're going to give you the catch.
Yep.
Tomorrow, ESPN Sunday Night Football offensive showdown. It's the Jets and the Colts. Peyton Manning and Vinny Testaverde. There's a name that they know around these parts. Coverage begins with NFL Prime Time at 7:30 Eastern. On ABC's Monday Night Football, it's the Raiders, it's the Broncos. Enough said. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. First and 10, Miami at the Pitt 27. Pitt's defense has some stops today. Dorsey hit and dropped. And it's going to take a while to get these receivers back, so the Hurricane going to lose some clock.
That time Miami sent 3 receivers vertical and left Santana Moss in the flat all alone, but the pressure by Pitt was too much for Dorsey.
2nd and 8. Dorsey. Nice catch by Reggie Wayne. First down, Hurricane. Clock stops. Chains move. Oh, wait a minute. Now they waved it off.
And the fans will boo, but Reggie Wayne is not protesting. That tells you that he didn't catch the football.
This turns into 3rd down and almost 9.
And that's a tougher one to call than the last one. It looks clearly that he goes down with it.
There it went. See it? When he hit the ground, Donnie, he didn't have the ball.
That's a great call by the official.
3rd down. And 8. Dorsey hurried. Oh, another great catch by Moss. He is having a day. First down, Miami on the move. Clock will start once they spot the ball.
Well, I love to see the receivers catch the ball with their hands like that.
Dorsey will spike it with 41 seconds. Now 40 seconds. It's an interesting time on the clock to spike, Donnie, just to stop the clock.
There's plenty of time left from the 6-yard line. to run another play. Yeah, as a quarterback, you like a guy who's fast, you like a guy who has moves, but you love when a guy catches the ball with his hands like that. Great extension of the body by Santana Moss. You see the leg strength of this guy. He comes out of his break as fast as he goes into it. He is a nice receiver to watch.
Second goal. Dorsey overthrows his man. And there's my point, Don, because spiking the ball has cost them a down. And now they're looking at 3rd down and goal rather than take 5-6 seconds to get a play in and run that play. Now they could score here and the point is moot. However, it's 3rd down and goal from the 6. Thanks. Dorsey, quick throw, caught, but not in. This is going to be 4th down and inches.
What a tackle by Ferguson.
Andre King made the catch, and Miami burns their final timeout of the half.
I think Dorsey thought he had King in the end zone. He caught the ball in about the 4. With seemingly no one around him, he's going to come in motion and cross with Shockey, and then Ferguson just comes hard. Great tackle.
William Ferguson is a freshman out of Braddock, Pennsylvania. Miami had a similar down early in this game, and they used a quarterback sneak with a big quarterback. Dorsey 6'5", 200, and he scored easily on the sneak. Our Buick halftime report coming up. Reese Davis, John Makovic. All the highlights from games going on, previews of the bigger games yet to come on this football Saturday in mid-November. The number 2 team in the country, the number 3 team in the BCS, Miami, facing a stubborn Pittsburgh team right now with 25 seconds left in this first half. 4th and goal.
Rich, you know I love play action pass right here, but I'm expecting Miami right now to try to go wide with James Jackson, use his speed to try to get to the cone.
No sneak, huh?
No sneak.
It's Jackson. Jumps. Is he in? No, he's not. Pittsburgh holds.
What a stop for the Panthers. Unbelievable. Rich, this is the 2nd stop for Pittsburgh. Remember, Butch Davis going for it on 4th down and not going for the field goal. They just try to go straight power football, and Pittsburgh is tough in the middle. Ursula gets him as the first one in. Comes off the corner, number 28.
Mike White, Joe Conlon inside, and the Pittsburgh coaches reacting. Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator in his first year, has to be very proud of the way his defense has played in the first half in the Orange Bowl. Ken Dorsey lobbying for that extra yard, but it looked pretty clear on the replay that Jackson did not get in. And an injured Panther right now. Brian Beinecke, the sophomore out of Youngstown, Ohio. And he's a guy they can ill afford to lose. He's a good one. Miami went 78 yards in 12 plays, ate up 6 minutes of clock, and has nothing to show for it.
And this Pittsburgh defense may be tired, as Holly Rose said, but they are playing tough football. And there's Beinecke, 15.
He made the initial hit. And you can see Jackson never got to the end zone. And now Pitt, who was worried about keeping Miami from getting in, has to worry about getting out. Buick halftime report is coming up. The Panthers can ill afford 2 points, and straight ahead goes Turman, and he's out. And I think a real shot in the arm for this young Pittsburgh team to come into the Orange Bowl against number 2 Miami and head to halftime down by 6. 13-7, number 2 Miami on top of Pittsburgh. It's the Buick halftime report. It's Reese Davis and John McAvoy.
Guys,
that's 13, the Pittsburgh Panthers 7 as we get set to start the second half. Rich Waltz, Don McPherson. They say, Don, to upset somebody, you got to have a lot of things go right early for your team, and that's what amazes me about Pittsburgh right now, because they had a lot of things go wrong, yet they're still in this game only down by 6.
And 2 fourth-down plays that Pittsburgh defense held tough. Walt Harris can be very pleased with where his team sits right now.
They will get the football to begin the second half. Torrey Cox takes a knee, and here's the example of what went wrong, at least the beginning of it. John Turman's throw was picked off by Philip Buchanan, and 72 yards later, Miami had a 6-0 lead.
And this little dance into the end zone right here by Buchanan cost them 15 yards on the point after, and that could be the difference maker.
Yeah, they missed that extra point.
And there's one of the 2 of the fourth down right there at the end of the half, and Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator, knows that his team is now in the hunt with big plays like that on the goal line.
Pittsburgh throughout the first half had open receivers, and John Turman threw the ball pretty well. He had some drops early and some success later in the half. Barlow, he breaks loose, and Kevin Barlow is out. Lost the ball. Barlow lost the football. Miami says they've got it. And they do.
Well, we just got finished talking about those missed opportunities for Pitt. That time, Kevin Barlow made an outstanding run, avoiding people in the backfield. And look who comes up with it.
Dan Morgan at the bottom of the pile, and Walt Harris is not obviously not happy.
And it was a tremendous effort by Barlow, but right now he's got to tuck the football away. And Rumpf gets a good pop right on the football and knocks it out. Number 8, Rumpf coming in right there, gets a pop right on the ball.
3 Pittsburgh turnovers. Ken Dorsey with time to the end zone. Incomplete. Santana Moss had a spectacular first half. Moss, who was all over the place, had 5 catches for 77 yards. Other numbers from the first half. Donnie, what jumps out at you?
Well, the 2 turnovers by Pittsburgh, it just took opportunities away from this team. But their pass yards, their total yards, they've done a fine job of hanging in offensively with a defense that they thought they were going to have more trouble with.
Najee Davenport is out of the ball game with a sprained knee, and so Robert Williams is in at the fullback spot. One name we haven't talked about, Don, is DJ Williams, the fine young true freshman fullback for Miami. He hasn't played at all. He has a right shoulder that's sore, and so James Jackson now has a 3rd-string fullback in front of him in Robert Williams.
Which makes it even more curious why Miami has been running the ball so much. Maybe they believe that they can wear down the Pittsburgh defense, but I think they're going to start to throw the ball up a lot more in the second half and try to put some more points on the board more quickly. 3rd
down. Dorsey with time, and that's incomplete, and that was intended for James Jackson. And so Miami goes 3 and out. If you're thinking field goal right now, you better think about 49, 50 yards.
And this ball could have been caught, but Dorsey just fires that ball. Those running backs don't like it when you fire the ball at them that closely.
And on 4th down, Miami says, what the heck? 50 yards, 49 yards, let's just go for it. 1 of 4 today on 4th down. Fourth and 10. Dorsey, lots of time, and they'll get the first down. Ivan Mercer, the senior tight end,
You know, Butch Davis is letting it fly right now with his team. I don't get the call with a 4th and 9. You go for it, but they get it. And Miami right now, their most difficult job right now is dealing with themselves. Shockey's a big play tight end coming from left to right in the screen. Excuse me, that's Mercer, the starter. He's not known for catching the football.
Jackson to the 12-yard line. Amir Purifoy made the stop.
Rich, this is a ball game that Miami has to battle themselves most of all. Pitt is not Florida State. They're not Virginia Tech. And they don't come in with this big mystique and a big-time game that gets you pumped up. And right now, Miami's finding themselves in a dogfight with a team that doesn't really challenge them and get in their face as much. Right now, it's all on the Miami team.
2nd down 5. Dorsey, man wide open, touchdown Miami. It's Mercer again. And Miami's going to go for 2. Mercer's first touchdown this year. Flags down. I think someone may have had too many people on the field.
It's not something they call though before the snap.
Illegal substitution on the defense. The penalty will be half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, Mark Ponko just left the field and nobody came back. So, just by subtraction, too many men out there. They get a whopping 1.5 yards. And here's the 2-point try. Moss in motion. Dorsey. Room to run, and he's in for the 2 points.
Dorsey leads the football and the touchdown conversion. And ladies and gentlemen,
Ken Dorsey to Ivan Mercer. And Miami is up by 2 scores, 21-7.
Mr. Hill? Yeah. May I speak with you? I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your credit card, Mr. Hill, who resides at 2965 Pine Street, husband to Carol, father to Jim and Diane. Your credit card, Mr. Hill, has been declined.
Unlike most credit card companies, Discover Card can send you an email reminder before you reach your credit limit. A friendly reminder. There's always something more to discover.
There is no danger, however, as the satellite's now expected to smash into Quasi, an uninhabited part of the Australian outback. Scientists say the 12...
Do you, Yahoo?
All right, drop the how-to books, boys. Let's talk about the fact that what you drive has changed. It's bigger, faster, and more sophisticated. So, why use any old oil? Come on, where's that famous male logic? These are Quaker State synthetics made for what you drive and how you drive it. 4x4, high performance, full synthetic. They've been tested for pure maximum protection. Nothing's better, Quaker State. What more do you need to know?
Great place. I like your neighborhood.
Thanks.
Oh,
Sorry.
Time to buy a Galant.
0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for an entire year on our best-selling Mitsubishis. Hurry, this deal ends soon.
21-7, number 2 Miami scores first here in the second half. And Sebastian, the Ibis, is a pretty happy bird right now. Close personal friend of our old partner Gino Toretta.
Where is Gino?
Gino's in Fort Collins. I think he's getting ready for Air Force and Colorado State. Torrey Cox to 1-0. Let's go back to that Miami score.
Well, Rich, here's Mercer right here, but what's even more important is the flow you're going to see by a great ball fake by Dorsey, the quarterback. Watch the full flow as Mercer just comes right back across with no one anywhere near him. Someone blew a coverage. And we've been talking about Dorsey and his poise. Right now he sees he's got room to run. He's only got a yard to get in. Smart move by Dorsey, pulling it down and making that decision.
You know, he's just like Toretta in a sense that he's a Northern California kid. He grew up probably 20 minutes from where Toretta did in Pinole, California. Dorsey is from Orinda, California. Barlow, who had the fumble on the last carry, is down to the 25-yard line. This is a huge series, in my mind, for Pittsburgh.
And it is for this offense to get their feet back. They've given Miami an interception for a touchdown and then the fumble by Barlow in the last series. This is, you're right, an important series for them to get back in.
Walt Harris has worked with some great quarterbacks in these days. Turman, his receiver went down. Turman had to scramble, and he makes the play. Bryant makes a catch out at the 40-yard line. Al Blades, who's been the constant companion for Bryant, made the stop. Antonio Bryant, playing in his hometown, Northwestern High School, was not recruited by Miami. Last year, he said he wanted to have a big game, and he put too much pressure on himself, he said.
And give Turman a lot of credit for throwing his ball over the middle of the field and finding his man Bryant, because he's thrown 2 picks already. It was a dangerous throw across his body, but a brave throw.
17 yards on the pickup. Only the 3rd catch for Bryant today. And Pittsburgh keeps it on the ground out to the 45. Dan Morgan made the stop.
Pittsburgh managed to give different looks up front in the first half, spreading them out with 4 wide receivers and flexing the tight end and then running the ball in the middle. Productive so far on just a few carries by Barlow in the run game.
Wilson in motion. Turman doesn't like what he sees. He'll take a timeout. 21-7. Miami on top of Pittsburgh. Back after this.
Great place. I like your neighborhood.
Thanks.
Oh,
Sorry.
Time to buy a Galant. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for an entire year on our best-selling Mitsubishis. Hurry, this deal ends soon.
We can expect
Amy?
in the coming months is Director of Product Development, Paul Noon.
My speech.
Got it.
Nortel Networks is building the new high-performance internet, the wireless internet, with optical technology that makes it faster.
Overall, this has been an exciting
and more
year.
reliable.
But the next few months will mark the beginning of a new Gesundheit. Come together. In fact, with technology changing over me.
place. Sony Vega.
The Miami Hurricanes are whirling towards a shot at the national championship. Can Syracuse knock the wind out of them? Miami versus Syracuse at 6:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
ESPN2's presentation of college football is brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors. The 2001 Galant. Wake up and drive.
Welcome back to Miami. 21-7. The number 2 team in the country, at least in the polls. In the BCS, Miami, of course, number 3 by percentage points. John Turman. All day to throw. Bryant is open. Can't make the catch. It was in his hands. And it's the second ball. He's dropped. Nice throw by Turman. 3rd down and 7.
Holly Rowe talked about these guys in the secondary, John, back and forth with Bryant. He knows that he has to win these battles. He knows he's not going to get those opportunities. He throws the hands up. I'm going deep. Ball goes right through his hands. He has to make that catch.
Four of 9 on 3rd downs today. Turman in trouble. Scrambling, throwing. It's dropped again by Bryant. Turman may have been across the line of scrimmage.
Turman was way across the line of scrimmage. I thought he was going to tuck and run. And Rich, you got to think that the Miami secondary is in the ear of Antonio Bryant.
They're not just in his ear, Donnie. They're in his head.
Yeah, exactly right. That is his 3rd drop of the day. And although it's a costly one because of, obviously it doesn't count because of the penalty, it's in his own head now. He's had 3 drops and 3 big drops.
It's a loss of down penalty. So Pittsburgh is going to have to punt.
Loss of down. 4th down at 12.
And this ball is right in his hands. That's the second, actually the 3rd pass that's gone right in and out of the hands of Antonio Bryant.
Andy Lee to punt, and the ever-dangerous Santana Moss back to receive. Lee gets off a good one. Moss to the 25-yard line. 9 yards on the return. Hey, it's hoops time, Donnie Mac. TiVo preseason NIT basketball coming to ESPN. Pepperdine and Indiana. The Waves hit Bloomington at 7 Eastern. Princeton and number 2 Duke at 9 Eastern. John Thompson Jr. making his debut at Princeton on Tuesday at ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Miami ball. Their own 26. Reggie Wayne on sort of a reverse. And he's out to the 29-yard line. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
Rich, we talked about it earlier. Wisconsin trying to become bowl eligible, locked up in a battle against Indiana. Jim Sorgi's in there. Brooks Bollinger sprained an ankle, and Sorgi's doing quite well for himself. Second touchdown pass of the day. That one to John Sigmund. It's 14-6.
We were in Wisconsin last week, Reese, and the Wisconsin coaches are very high on Sorgi. They think that Sorgi would be a starting quarterback in a lot of other places in the Big Ten. Clinton Portis with the carry, and he's out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Brian Knight, the junior, in pursuit.
And Brian Knight was the one who made the last play on the reverse to King. He's showing a tremendous amount of speed and quickness coming down the line and chasing plays.
On 3rd and 4, quick throw. Oh. How would would you like to be a quarterback with these receivers? Reggie Wayne.
Talked about the hands earlier of Santana Moss. This time Reggie Wayne pulls a page out of that same book with great extension and hands on this catch. Just caught the end of the ball. It's impressive.
Portis straight ahead, and Clinton Portis is out to the 46. It's a gain of 7. Ryan Gonzalez made the stop.
Clinton Portis is a guy we weren't expecting to see today. We weren't sure if he was going to play or not. He's not even listed in the 2 deep, but he's had a few big games for them
in his career. He was a freshman All-American last year. They've got James Jackson. We've seen him most of the day. They've lost Najee Davenport, their fullback. DJ Williams has not played for Miami. And this is Portis out to midfield. He's got a first down. Johnny, Miami leads this game 21-7. In the biggest of the big pictures, the BCS picture, should Miami win this game by, say, 14 points, 20 points, does that hurt them in the BCS? Do they need to blow Pittsburgh out right now?
According to the computer, they need to blow people out, but Butch Davis will not do it. He doesn't think that that's what his team is all about. He's going to play it straight. It will hurt them in the computers, but I don't think it will hurt them in the popular vote.
The problem is they're trailing in the Electoral College. Dorsey's throw, another catch by Wayne. Wayne out at the 32-yard line, 19 yards on the pickup. There's your scoring margin. Miami has a better scoring margin than Florida State, though that probably will change today. Florida State has what, Wake Forest today?
Wake Forest.
They're only about a 50-point favorite.
You have 2 different coaching personalities and styles here.
You see the
disparity.
Yeah. They're flip-flopped from the polls to the BCS. Dorsey throws short, caught by Wayne, spins away from one. Wayne down to the 10-yard line. First down, Miami.
Miami's just starting to take over this ball game now. They've got their run game going with Portis, and they're being more methodical in the pass game. Reese Davis talked earlier. You don't see the spin move very much, but watch Reggie Wayne in the open field, a quick little juke, and he's gone.
First and 10 from the 12. Dorsey, Moss is open. Dorsey, incomplete. Santana Moss was doing everything he could in the back of the end zone
Santana
to get
Moss,
Dorsey's attention.
He came across the field. I think he probably got across the field too fast. He came across the field like a shot. And by the time Dorsey got his head around, Moss was already in the corner of the end zone. He's saying, why not me? See, I'm here.
Dorsey doesn't miss much. Man open, Robert Williams, and he's dropped. Boy, Torrey Cox made the stop. And this is going to bring up 3rd down.
You know, Pitt was concerned with their secondary going up against a high-powered offense, but I tell you, I am impressed with how well the Pittsburgh secondary has been tackling in the open field.
This Panther defense has been on the field an awful long time here in this 3rd quarter.
You can see them huffing and puffing.
Dorsey caught, touchdown. Reggie Wayne.
Put your eyes on Santana Moss. Reggie Wayne steps up big, and he certainly did in that last drive.
Extra point is good. And Miami, a 13-7 halftime lead, has been stretched. 28-7. Reggie Wayne from Ken Dorsey.
Lose weight free.
Reggie Wayne is just calling everyone to remind them that he's the career leading receiver in Miami history. Santana Moss gets a lot of headlines, but Reggie Wayne now has a Miami record. He's caught a ball in 34 consecutive games. 4 on that drive. Out of Marrero, Louisiana is Reggie Wayne. Torrey Cox. And Torrey Cox busts one out to the 32-yard line. We check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
Rich, Northwestern's made a living coming back all season long. They'd better get busy. Down 13-3 against Iowa. It's Kyle McCann looking for the Big Ten reception leader, Kevin Casper, 42 yards out. Hawkeyes up 20-3, and look what's going on in East Lansing. Purdue down 15-3. Oh, the Big Ten could be jumbled again.
Both of those teams were hoping to play for a Big Ten title next week.
I tell you, this has been the most competitive college football season I can remember in a long time.
Now Pittsburgh has to get up off the mat, or they may just stay down. Nick Goings out to the 35-yard line.
Earlier I said Pittsburgh's defense was forcing Miami to some long drives, and that was good for the Pittsburgh defense. At this point in the ball game, it's great for the Miami offense, and they're proving that they're not just a big, quick strike team, that they can put long drives together and go down the field and march down the field on people.
And obviously the Pittsburgh defense could use some help from the Pittsburgh offense. Goings to the 34-yard line. Dan Morgan made another stop. 3 men are the Buckus finalists. We told you about it earlier. Keith Adams of Clemson, Rocky Calmus of Oklahoma. Miami never has won the Buckus. And Morgan said that's unreal. Just look at the caliber of linebackers they've had here at Miami.
They put together a string of some outstanding defensive players. You know, those guys play behind people like Warren Sapp and some other fine defensive linemen. It clears the way for these guys to make some tackles.
3rd down. Turman deflected and incomplete. Mike Rumpf broke it up. Antonio Bryant, I don't think ever touched it.
And you can just feel Miami's momentum right now, starting to put the screws in.
Andy Lee to punt it away. Santana Moss is waiting. In traffic, Moss is out to the 43. Down below, Holly Rowe.
Guys, Dan Morgan broke an unbelievable record that stood for 13 years, and here's the man whose record it was, George Myra Jr. You said you hadn't thought about the record in 13 years till last night, and you broke it down.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. I was at work last night, and a couple of guys were talking about it, and, you know, I sat down. I said, you know, God, that's a heck of a lot of tackles, and, you know, I had 490, and I broke it down to 130 a year for 4 years. You couldn't miss a game or get hurt. You had to be there every game, and even Joe Rose told me today that it was a phenomenal record.
Well, you give Dan some grief because you said it, even missing a game, but you keep pushing him to do better himself.
Oh, yeah, I give him a little tease. I said, you know, I missed a game. You know, you started more games than I did, but I keep driving and telling him, look, you got to keep going and pushing, and he's done well, and I congratulated him on the sideline, and I think he's played one of the best games he's played this year.
They moved down from outside linebacker to inside this year, which is a rare move for kids to succeed at, but you think he's made the adjustment?
Yeah, he's done very well. You know, the rule is You know, an inside guy can go outside, but an outside guy can't come inside. But Dan has proven him wrong, and he's done it, and he's doing an exceptionally good job this year.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Rich.
Thanks, Holly. George Myra Jr., of course, his father was the great quarterback here. And Dan Morgan setting the tackle record today. I thought they left those camouflage. I thought they left that back in the 80s, the Hurricane. There's a look at the number that's been retired. Where's Toretta's number? Dorsey's throw is dropped. Robert Williams dropped it. Where's Gino's number?
It's got to get up there soon. Gino Torretta is the most decorated, not just college football player here at Miami, the most decorated college athlete of all time.
Got Otis Anderson and Burgess Owens, Vinny Testaverde. They just retired Bernie Kosar's number here. The Mad Stork. Why wasn't he called the Mad Ibis? Dorsey's throw is incomplete. And it's 3rd down and 10 for Miami. There's a look at Kosar. Hendricks wore 89 when he was here. Jim Dooley. A lot of history and heritage in this stadium. I think Dorsey is kind of really fits that mold of the Jim Kellys, the Testaverde, the Kosar, the Torettas, the Craig Erickson, Steve Walsh, the big quarterback that's had success. A wobbly pass is incomplete. And Miami will have to punt. All right, time now for our Aflac trivia question. Cue the duck. Miami quarterback Gino Torretta won the '92 Heisman Trophy. Which running back finished 2nd in the '92 race? That's a touchback. It's a nice
effort.
Nice effort by Andre Johnson, but it's coming out to the 20-yard line.
And I'm stymied by the question. The 1992 running back that finished 2nd in the Heisman. Oh, just missed it.
Great play, great effort. Shit, that's good.
You heard the coaches calling great effort, great effort. That's all you want from your team, especially when you're up 21. You have a hint for me?
You know, I don't know the answer. I'm stymied as you are.
You're killing me.
Turman. It's dropped, and it's incomplete. Donnie, a program that if you're a college football fan, you really should catch. A SportsCenter flashback is on ESPN Classic. It aired last week. It's on ESPN Classic on Tuesday at 7 Eastern. Remembering Marshall 30 years later. Going back to November of 1970.
You know, I watched that program the other night, and it's amazing how that entire city was affected by that tragedy.
And that ball's caught by Lou Polite. And Lou Polite, with a few of his friends, make their way out to the 27-yard line. It's Donnie, I've been back to Marshall to do 3 games, the MAC championship the last 3 years. And it's amazing that when you go back there, still, there is that air and that, I don't want to say uneasiness, but it's an aura about that program and about that accident and about that team that still remains. There are members that were around that team, that were on that team, that were not on that plane, that have never gone back to that stadium. And will not go back to that stadium still to this day. Turman. A completion to Lateef Grimm out to the 35-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup. Pitt trying to move the ball. Down 28-7 here in the Orange Bowl.
And that is a big completion for Turman in what has been otherwise a dismal second half so far. A few drops, especially from the big guy Antonio Bryant. A fumble by Barlow.
Another completion, Barlow the catch, and the Hurricanes swarm and be short of the first down. Aflac trivia answer, the question was, our own buddy Gino Toretto won the Heisman in '92. Which running back finished second? And the answer is Marshall Faulk. That's a good question. That's a Susie Hinsdale special.
Marshall Faulk. I didn't think he was that old.
It's Susie's job every week to come up with those questions. Dan Morgan and the Miami defense has played well today. Barlow, who is gang tackled, is slow to get up.
And this is the time in the ball game when this Miami team knows that teams come down here from up north in the heat and they start to wear down. They start to apply a little more pressure defensively.
Second down, 6. Turman caught at the 36. Actually dropped. The ball hit the ground first. It's incomplete. We head to the studios. Reese Davis.
Down in College Station, Rich, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, the Aggies deep in Sooner land. Mark Ferris, look at this beautifully thrown ball to Robert Ferguson, and Texas A&M takes a touchdown lead to the half.
And Lee Corso's looking better and better. He had the Aggie hat on this morning.
And the BCS computers are spinning.
That last pass was incomplete. Third down and 6. Turman's going down. Dropped at the 36.
Like I said, Miami steps up their game at this point in the ball game. Going into the fourth quarter with the lead, Miami is tough.
Quincy Hips, the senior out of Tampa, with the sack.
And Hips is one-on-one with a back, and he's going to win that battle every time.
Pitt worst in the Big East in giving up sacks. 32 coming into play, and that's the first today. You give Santana Moss enough times, or enough tries. Moss is out to the 37-yard line. It's one of the things Pittsburgh's done well today. Moss hasn't hurt him on the return game.
Pittsburgh's been very good in the special teams game. Where they've hurt themselves have been on turnovers and drops, and those two elements right there have cost Pittsburgh this ball game so far.
Donnie, do style points help in the BCS? Because I don't think Miami will, at this point in the game, through these 3 quarters, I don't think they're going to get many style points for this one.
No, they won't get style points, and again, the computer knows nothing about style, but I'm impressed with how they've played this ball game. They took some chances early, trying to make some things happen, and now
James Jackson is loose.
And now their run game is picking up. James Jackson wasn't getting that kind of freedom in the first half, and now because of their methodic play through 3 quarters, they're starting to get their run game going.
24 yards on the carry.
And Jackson does most of this himself. He cuts inside, he's got blocks to his side, and then he has that speed to bounce it outside. With all the pounding they've been doing on the inside and not getting much. Pittsburgh's defense is a little worn down.
I'd say a lot worn down right now. Gary Urschler made the stop on James Jackson. Oklahoma trailing right now, so in the BCS picture. So much of the focus here in Florida has been on Florida State and Miami. And the Hurricane don't have anything to worry about if Oklahoma gets beat today. At least for a week. Rest of the way for Miami in the Big East. One advantage the Hurricane have, they do not have a conference championship game. So if they beat Pittsburgh today, and it looks like they will, if they win at Syracuse and then beat Boston College, it looks like they've got an outstanding shot at being 1 or 2 in that BCS. If you're in the SEC or the Big 12, Don, that extra game can hurt you, I think, a lot more than it can help you in terms of the BCS.
Absolutely. Hopefully it'd be great to see that Nebraska-Oklahoma rematch. Will definitely be a key.
Number 2 Miami has stretched their lead. Reggie Wayne's having a day. 28-7 Hurricane. I don't know that Miami's finest will be needed to keep the crowd off the field after this one. It's kind of a disappointing turnout here at the Orange Bowl for the number 2 team in the country. Dorsey, Moss, look out, 10, and out of bounds. 23 yards on the catch and the run.
This guy has acceleration. Goodness gracious. He makes a move. He comes out of this. He's standing still. Watch him spin and go. Oh, my goodness. Not much you can do against that.
That's not a Cajun term.
No, it's not Cajun. It's acceleration.
First and goal for Miami. Pittsburgh 7. Jackson is in. Touchdown. The route is on. Bring on the computers.
Holly Rowe talked earlier about James Jackson finishing runs, and it's exactly what he's done on this drive. Showing great vision in the middle of the field.
Gary Urschler, who has played a pretty good ball game, the sophomore safety. Pittsburgh, of course, lost their great tackler, Ramon Walker, with a knee injury. Corey Humphreys has been banged up. Torrey Cox, Gary Urschler, William Ferguson, all having to play in the secondary.
Talking about James Jackson, just watch his vision. Watch where he starts to play, starts to the left, and goes all the way back across and sees that seam as he straightens and squares his shoulders up the field. That's what Holly Rowe was talking about earlier in finishing plays. And this is just adding injury to insult.
When they're over 31, they've won 100 straight. And you might look at that stat and you'd say, duh. But you know what? In modern day college football, you look at the Northwestern Michigan game as an example. 45 to 40 games all of a sudden are not that uncommon. The Hurricane, number 2 in the country, number 1 in the Orange Bowl right now, 35-7.
Mom, Dad, remember how my rent was earning me airline miles?
Yeah, that rewards program.
Scrap it. I'm not going anywhere. Mark. What I want now is merchandise, preferably brand name, and I've been kicking some numbers around. I've already earned the television. That's going upstairs. Give me a hand with this, Dad, please. Dad.
You want brand name merchandise?
Yeah.
What does this look like? A Holiday Inn?
Points, miles, or merchandise. Holiday Inn gives you more, and more is better.
Between the travel and the tedium, training programs can cost real leaps in productivity. Go from training downtime to learning online, anytime, anywhere. Discover all that's possible on the internet. Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
They're young, and some just think that way. The people and companies that were born digital, or reborn, as comfortable with data as the last generation was with the telephone, as long as they have the right set of tools and the right company behind them. WorldCom, Generation D.
.5.7. They've got the headgear on. Even the horses got the headgear going. You think the horse is really...
I was about to say, you think the horse has any idea we're making fun of it?
You think he's a Seminole fan? Gator fan?
He probably is, because you know that's where all the horse farms up in Ocala County.
You know, Donnie, I can honestly say I did not know that.
I did not know that. I know you didn't.
That's what we pay all that money to research for. Our storyline today, number 2, Miami came out trying to impress the voters. And you tell us. Antonio Bryant, just 28 receiving yards. He leads the country in close to 150 a game, and it's a disappointing return for the Miami native. Pitt's defense has played very, very well, but so has Ken Dorsey, the sophomore quarterback out of Orinda, California. Miami's defense has forced 3 turnovers.
And Antonio Bryant really has stopped himself. You see only 28 receiving yards. He's had 3 or 4 drops.
Nick Goings out to the 24-yard line. Dustin Pachotti on the carry.
You know, Pittsburgh offense just has to be frustrated with themselves right now. They know they've blown some opportunities, and they find themselves in a very difficult situation right now. They have to keep their heads about it, otherwise it will get worse a lot more quickly.
Goings out to the 29, and it's just too easy. Let's just plain and simple go to Reese Davis.
All right, Rich, you know, with the way things were unfolding, Michigan, Ohio State could have some Rose Bowl significance. Wolverines and Buckeyes would still need some help, and things have to unfold today. Wolverines doing their part against Penn State. Drew Henson will swing out to B.J. Askew, will throw back 41 yards, and the Wolverines rolling 27-3.
And no record for Joe Paterno this year. That will have to wait until he's 74 next year. 3rd down short. Dustin Pachotti. And Pachotti is out to the 33-yard line. Rich Waltz, Don McPherson, Holly Rowe in the Orange Bowl.
And number 51, Jonathan Vilma.
Where Miami has had a wonderful season so far. And if they continue to play like this, with 2 more games left on their Big East schedule, have a very, 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 very good chance of being in the national championship game up the road at Joe Robbie. Intended for Lamar Slade. And it's incomplete. And it's inconceivable to me how they can be ranked number 3 in the BCS. I mean, I know there's a formula, and I know there's 8 computers and strength of schedule. They beat the number 1 team in the country, Florida State. They beat the number 2 team in the country in Virginia Tech. They did lose to Washington. And how do you think Washington feels? The Huskies, who in looking at the BCS don't really have a shot at getting to the 1 or 2 spot. Turman on a shovel pass. Goings out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Here are your BCS standings 1 through 5. Washington is 6th. You've got Florida State, Miami, Nebraska, and Florida. Miami beat Florida State. They feel they should be number 2, and I think they're right. They're almost there percentage-wise. Washington beat Miami. Their one loss was on the road at Oregon, one of the toughest places to play in the country.
And they did it early.
Yeah.
So people don't remember when you lose early.
Turman swiped away. And it's recovered back at the 37-yard line. That's a good point, Don, because one of the things that hurts Washington is they're no further up the ladder in the polls than they are in the BCS. So it's not like the writers or the coaches feel differently for the BCS about that Washington team.
Meanwhile, here in Miami, Pittsburgh continues to have their problems. As Turman just loses the ball, William Joseph gets a hand on it. And they're going in the opposite direction once again, 2nd and 20.
Screen pass to Goings. Boom. And the senior out of Dublin, Ohio, puts his head down.
Stop by Rob and Bilmo.
It's a big play just to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Come on, McPherson. I mean, at the very least, you could spring for a new flag for your alma mater here at the Orange Bowl.
That is a weather-beaten Syracuse flag.
And that's a test next week for the Hurricane.
It will be a test in the Carrier Dome, and Syracuse now has their new quarterback, R.J. Anderson, who's starting to produce for them.
Turman threw it behind his receiver. He was looking for Grimm.
This has been a long day for Antonio Bryant. Not only has he not been productive, but he's been getting it from the Miami secondary. And it's just a long day for a kid who comes back to his hometown. And
you know, he can complain all he wants to his quarterback, but the fact of the matter is he dropped 3 balls that were thrown right to him earlier in the game, and those, I think, are factors in this game. Not to criticize the young man, but still. 35-7, Miami's on top. Santana Moss and the Hurricane get the ball when we get back.
This is the place where gravity is suspended, where adrenaline overrules pain, and fatigue has no bearing. Where at 6'10", 250, you're often undersized, yet it's the size of one's heart, not body, that determines his success. With NBA League Pass from DirecTV, you'll get up to 40 games a week from outside your area. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS now, and for just 4 payments of $42.25, you'll see the world's greatest athletes play the world's greatest game.
Holy smokes, anything can happen in this one, baby.
Are you ready for Super Clash?
The greatest names in professional wrestling history are on Direct Ticket pay-per-view.
As far as I'm concerned, this signifies
the best.
Relive the events and times of the American Wrestling Association.
Not 2 world champions, not 3, but 1. After Super Clash, there'll only be 1 champion. And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at him right now.
It's the best of classic AWA wrestling here on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View on DirecTV. The Miami Hurricanes are whirling towards a shot at the national championship. Can Syracuse knock the wind out of them? Miami versus Syracuse at 6:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
Want to start a family?
Right now?
I just got supplemental insurance.
What's that?
Aflac. Well, if we get sick, our health insurance won't cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What's it called? Aflac!
I don't know.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
ESPN2's presentation of college football is brought to you by Madden NFL 2001 from EA Sports. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
All right, Mr. Agriculture, is that an ibis there?
I think that's an ibis.
All right, 35.
It's in the ibi family.
35-7. Number 2 Miami on top of Pitt. There was a penalty at the end of the play. Santana Moss, when he went out of bounds on the Pittsburgh sideline, tossed the football at one of the Panther players. It was flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. Here's a look.
At this point in the ball game, you just have to keep your cool. Something happens on the sideline, just walk away. That's it. That's worthy of a flag. You just have to drop the ball, walk away, and keep your cool.
Now, I'm not sure if Butch was unhappy with Santana or with the officials. Probably a little of both. He's fought very hard against that reputation, Donnie. That reputation of an outlaw program. That reputation of being undisciplined. And the taunting and the swaggering. Speaking of swagger, here's Reese Davis.
Oh, you know it. I'm bad about taunting when I have a big highlight like this one. Temple trying to become bowl eligible. They must win out. Down 17-5 to Syracuse. Tenardo Sharp. 34 yards to the house. And the Owls hanging around 17-12.
No flag on Reese. So he'll get a warning. 35-7, Miami on top. Miami and Syracuse next week. Out to the 35-yard line, Clinton Portis the carry. Gerald Hayes made the stop.
6 yards on the corner's run. 2nd down and 4.
Santana Moss is now the leader in career receiving yardage.
You recognize that name in the middle, but look at the 3rd name. Reggie Wayne tells you how productive these 2 players have been for Miami over the years.
Portis out to the 34-yard line. I want to finish my discussion on Butch Davis because we talked to him yesterday about the reputation that Miami received in the 80s and the early 90s as not an outlaw program, but being out of control and undisciplined and the taunting and all of that. He has tried very, very hard to corral that both on the field and in the classroom. This football program academically is becoming one of the best in the country, and to me that sounds strange to say it, but it's true.
They had a 73% graduation rate last year. An outstanding job, as you mentioned, in the classroom, and how he mentioned how Jimmy Johnson was one of the first coaches and first programs to put an academic advisor together for the football team. This is people forget, University of Miami is an outstanding academic institution. It's not a very large school, and they do recruit a lot of players who they give a lot of help to in the classroom.
Reggie Wayne made that catch, and one of the reasons Johnson did that is because in Miami recruits nationally. You'll get Dorsey from California, and when he went recruiting nationally, he would run into the Notre Dames and the Stanfords, and those schools not only could offer football and a shot at the NFL, but also a diploma. And Davis has really worked hard to to continue that. Hayes with another stop on Portis. Butch Davis's picture was in the Alabama papers yesterday as being one of the leading candidates, if not now the leading candidate, now that Tommy Bowden has signed an extension at Clemson, as the head coach at Alabama. And Davis would have none of that talk.
I think if Butch Davis makes a move, it's going to be to the next level. He is a pro-type coach. He spent some time in the NFL with the Cowboys, got a taste of what that's all about.
Got 2 Super Bowl rings from his Cowboy days. Andre Johnson, the freshman, did not get the foot down, and he's out of bounds. Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Hey guys, we're here with a proud brother and former proud Miami player, Benny Blades. You won the Thorpe Award here as a good defensive back, but you said you give your brother a few pointers as well. Al Blades having a sensational day, shutting down some pretty good receivers.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's having a tremendous day today. A few times let the guys get behind him, and of course, as being a brother and a former defensive back, I had to tell him, hey, look, you got to make those plays. Good players make those plays, and he's been responding. And so, hey, makes me not only a proud Hurricane, but a proud brother.
I can't imagine the kind of pressure he's on to have to live up to your expectations and his brother Brian's. Is it hard to be a Blades brother?
It's definitely hard to be a Blades brother, but not only be a Blades brother, but be a Blades kid in that family. I mean, we had a couple of sisters that ran track and they competed in the Olympic trials, and then I have 2 brothers that come out and play for the University of Miami and both have NFL careers. I told him, I said, if I was you, I wouldn't want to make that decision to come to Miami with all the mystique and all the prestige we brought, especially to the Blades family, and now have a son coming up. So the pressure's on.
Well, he's lived up to it so far. Thanks very much, Benny.
All right.
Thanks, Holly.
Rich, I came out with Benny Blades in the same year and played a few All-Star games with him. He was a tremendous hitter as a safety. He was a lot like Ronnie Lott, would come up and lay the wood to you.
Longtime Detroit Lion. Miami, like the old Miami, 35-7.
Rated E for everyone.
EA Sports. Big.
At BASF, we don't make the bandage. We make it stick better. We don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Slightly unexpected. Perfectly perfected.
Digital palm quarter with 3-way PC link from Panasonic.
Oh, just a bit of magic.
The AFC East pole position is up for grabs as Curtis Martin and the Jets clash with the Colts triple threat of Manning, Marvin, and the Edge. Watch the Jets versus the Colts at 8:30 on ESPN Sunday Night Football. It's football after dark.
A great tradition continues on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. This week's main event, Corey Spinks takes on Edgar Ruiz in a 12-round welterweight battle. Friday Night Fights, Friday at 9 on ESPN2.
You never know what you're going to run into in Miami.
You know, there are so many beautiful people in Miami.
And we picked that one.
We picked this guy.
Hopefully that will not be an Olympic sport. But the way that's going, you never know. Pittsburgh ball. At their own 11. David Priestley throws a wobbler, and it's incomplete. David Priestley is in the ball game, the junior who split time with John Turman last year, had off-season shoulder surgery, lost the starting job to Turman coming out of camp. Played pretty well last week against North Carolina.
One of those smart quarterbacks. It doesn't really hurt you when he comes in the ball game. He does the little things right.
Priestley sacked. Cornelius Green. Flag down. That will be the third unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the day.
And that's what Miami was known for back in the 80s when they were doing so well. And that's the swagger of Miami. You get both at the same time. You get a team that plays confident, plays hard, but you also get a team that's going to stand up and do this. And that's a pretty cheap call, but I think the message is clear that the officials are not going to tolerate this, and these are Big East officials, so they want to make that clear that as Miami comes back, we don't want this to come back with it.
I think they've done a nice job today. They've had some difficult calls to make, and they've made them.
I agree.
Bryant drops another. That's his fourth drop of the day.
Please, please. Number 80, Antonio Bryant.
And Rich, you were being critical of Antonio Bryant earlier, and I agree with you. You're 100% right. And you have to feel for this kid. It's got to be a tough game to come back to your home city with great expectations, having a fine year, and just not being able to put it together.
Donnie, to clarify, I was not critical of him dropping the football. I was critical of him complaining that his quarterback wasn't throwing his way when he had dropped the football now 4 times. Priestley to the 31-yard line. Chris Wilson made the catch. Regardless of this score, 35-7, I still like this Pittsburgh program. I think they're a program on the rise. They move into that new football stadium in Pittsburgh. Walt Harris's program just got a brand new state-of-the-art facility that they share with the Steelers, which he sees as a real plus. 3rd down short. Goings. Nick Goings is having fun running over people. James Lewis is the victim and the tackler. 10 yards on the carry.
I like that little attitude by Goings there. Hey, we may be down, but let's not just walk away from this game. Let's still play and finish hard.
First down for the Panthers.
You get a chance to see Goings in real speed right here. Listen to the pop. That's a big-time pop by Goings.
Bryant makes the catch. And he is taken out of bounds at the 44-yard line. To the studios, Reese Davis.
And Rich, maybe Miami doesn't have to worry about Florida State in the BCS. Maybe they might want to think about playing them again. Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Heupel throws his second pick of the day. Terrence Keel gets it. And what do you want on your tombstone? Jamar Toombs going in, and the Aggies up 24-10 in the 3rd.
Very nicely done. Yeah, Donnie, we talked about that point. The focus in this state, aside from Bush and Gore and all that mess, has been Florida State and Miami. The quick throw is dropped by Chris Wilson. Butch Davis told us yesterday, look, in college football, there are a lot of things you can't control. And one of them is the BCS.
Which is exactly why we opened the show today by talking about what Miami has to do. That's definitely not an Ibis. And what Miami has to do is focus on themselves and keep their eyes focused on what the Miami Hurricanes need to get done and not worry about anyone else. And they've done that today.
Priestley scrambling and throwing, and it's incomplete. And Priestley ended up in a bunch of Hurricanes. He's all right. Long day for Antonio Bryant, but you know what? He's just a sophomore. And I have a feeling before he leaves Pittsburgh, he will have a good day against the Hurricanes.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That kid has a bright future in front of him. It's just a tough day for this entire Pittsburgh team. We saw yet another drop that led to this punt.
Darrell Jones, fair catch at the 22-yard line. I don't know if it's a problem with the ballots or the computers, or both.
Get the power of 3, the Intel Pentium 3 processor.
There are times when you have trouble sleeping because you can't stop thinking about the tensions of the day. Try something different. New Aluna Sleep, the herbal supplement that won't knock you out, but relaxes you so you can drift off to sleep naturally. Aluna is not a drug. There are no groggy side effects. It promotes a natural sleep pattern in just a few nights. New Aluna. It doesn't make you sleep. It lets you sleep.
The election is over. All the posters torn down, all the concession speeches made. Except for ours. Because the Las Vegas Freedom Party concedes nothing. 0% with a margin of error of 3%. I don't even know what that means. But we are not giving up. The Las Vegas Freedom Party is alive as ever. And it's going on here where you can do what you want, when you want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we will not rest until our message of freedom is heard.
$35-7, number 2 Miami on top. This Orange Bowl just got a real jolt. 47,000 came to their feet when they announced that Oklahoma was losing, as we just saw with Reese Davis. Oklahoma obviously number 1 in the country, number 1 in the BCS. Clinton Portis runs out of bounds. Oh, so much more coming up on ESPN and ESPN2. Ohio State and Illinois. It's a huge game for Ohio State, especially if Northwestern and Purdue continue to trail as they are today. Air Force and Colorado State on ESPN2 at 6 Eastern. Number 13, Georgia. Number 23, Auburn, our primetime game on ESPN. And on ESPN2, LSU and Ole Miss at 9 Eastern. Tonight on ESPN and ESPN2, your home for college football on the internet. Portis over the right side to the 32-yard line. And I can't stress enough that if Miami wins out, they win the Big East, and I think it's a huge advantage that they do not play in a conference that has a conference championship game, because if that were the case, Don, they probably would have to meet someone like Virginia Tech again with a healthy Michael Vick.
That's exactly right. And, you know, it's a shame that schools in the Big 12 are, in a sense, penalized because of the BCS ranking in the computer system that penalized them for what was considered to be a plus, having a championship game.
The rest of the way for Miami is easier than Florida State, although Wake Forest, I'm not referencing the Demon Deacons in that comment, but look at number 4 Florida, who looms on Florida State's schedule. At Syracuse next week on ESPN, and then Boston College. The championship games can also be a plus too if you're, say, a Nebraska or a team that, say you get to the championship game and you're number 3 or number 4 in the BCS, you get a shot at a 1 or 2 team in the BCS. You have a chance to catapult yourself into that 1 and 2 spot, while a lot of teams are just sitting at home watching. It's interesting to me, ironic to me, that a lot of people who are against a college playoff contend that you'd be adding extra games when, as Ethnic Sands comes in the game, his sophomore quarterback Ken Dorsey is out. And the Hurricanes keep it on the ground after the 38-yard line. That was Jason Gathers. There's a look at Sands, the sophomore out of Miami. Donnie, everyone said you can't have a playoff because that adds too many games. Oh, by the way, you know, college football teams are going to start playing 12 games here coming up pretty soon on certain seasons.
Right.
And you got championship games and preseason games. So it's okay now to, I guess, play 14 games in a season, but not in the course of a playoff. And look at the day Dorsey's had. And Gathers is out to the 44-yard line. Of course, I can make this point because Rod Gilmore's not here. And neither is Toretta, who almost slugged me last year when we brought that whole playoff BCS argument up.
You know, this is not a popular opinion, but I am a traditionalist, and I think that the bowl system was fine. The ranking system was fine. We live, obviously, in a country that wants number one all the time. We want a definitive number one. And so the BCS was born to get to this definitive number one. And I think what gets lost in all that is the spirit of college football. And we've seen such a competitive year this year, and we should be enjoying what these young men have been doing on the field all year long, as opposed to arguing about what a computer or what 8 computers are going to say who is the best. This has been such a well-played and entertaining year of college football, and it wouldn't be a shame to see it tarnished because of a computer.
Amen. Reverend McPherson, 35-7, Miami on top.
C'est joli. C'est mon endroit préféré de Paris. On a été ici toute la journée.
Wherever there is beautiful hair, without the slightest hint of a flake, there is Head & Shoulders. So with just the mere twist of a few strands,
c'est tellement romantique. Écoute,
he'll realize letting go may be the hardest thing he ever does.
Oh, j'adore tes cheveux.
I don't understand a word you just said, but keep on talking.
Head & Shoulders. Dandruff should never get in the way of being close.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Slightly unexpected. Perfectly perfected. Ahead of your head, I said. Our stuff is what dreams are made of. Time to bring it on home.
High-definition television, made possible by Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Oh, just a bit of magic.
Another great day for that young quarterback, Ken Dorsey. The sophomore has number 2 Miami on top of Pittsburgh, 35-7. Rich Waltz, Don McPherson, Holly Rowe in the Orange Bowl. And a deep kick rolls through the end zone. 56 yards on the kick off the right foot of Freddie Capshaw. Our Cisco Systems player of the game. Dorsey now, as a starter, is 11-1, has thrown for 28 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
And you mentioned him amongst those names of Toretta and Kozar and the other great quarterbacks who played here in Miami. He is well on his way to playing that type of football.
He was not recruited by the Cal Golden Bears. They had Kyle Baller and a good quarterback in their own right, but he grew up about 15 minutes from the Cal campus. Rutherford out to the 34-yard line. Let's go to the studios. Reese Davis.
Michigan State's second best pass defense in the nation had throttled Drew Brees and Purdue until now. Brees, the Vinny Sutherland, who was momentarily stopped in time, but got loose and scored, and the Boilermakers back within 5 in the third quarter.
Well, when you freeze a defensive back like that, Donnie.
That's a heck of a juke move, Reese. You gotta keep your eye on him because he's pretty quick.
Out to the 37-yard line. Donnie, let's talk more about the BCS. And I think you were probably referencing a team like Purdue in a sense that a lot of the luster of their season is taken off just by the fact that they're not in this, the final 3 or 4 teams in the BCS element when we get to the last month. Here's the scoring breakdown. You take the poll average, the coaches on the left, the riders on the right, then the computer average. They've added 4 computers, so there's 8 this year. Schedule strength is mixed in, and then number of losses. Add it all together, and the lowest number is number 1. The next lowest is number 2. Rutherford overthrows, and it's incomplete. So how is Florida State ranked ahead of Miami? Don?
Well, you're figuring this out for me. I'm a former player. I don't get it.
There's the strength of schedule. Miami has no strength of schedule. And the remaining opponent's record. Now, remember, Wake Forest is one opponent, and then Florida is the other opponent for the Seminoles.
And I joke saying I'm a former player and I don't get it, is that most players don't get it. They go out and they play football each week.
You know, it occurs to me that the only difference between the confusion we used to have in the polls and the confusion we have now with the BCS is the BCS is sponsored. And there's more elements, there's more numbers to look at. You can quantify them. You can point to this number and point to that number. Where it used to be in the old polls, there was just a lot of, there was a little more mystery. Now there seems to be a little more confusion.
And the one thing that I've heard, especially coming out of Miami this week, is that the polls don't recognize heart. They don't recognize the effort of a team or what goes on in the course of a ball game. They just look at the numbers. And I think that's what frustrates players.
Darryl Jones for Miami. Hogtied at the 36-yard line. Big night for the SEC tonight on ESPN and ESPN2. Rudy in Auburn trying to stay atop the SEC West, taking on the Georgia Bulldogs on ESPN. And then on ESPN2, Josh Booty and the LSU Tigers collide with Deuce McAllister and Ole Miss. That's at 9 on ESPN2. Last week they had, what, 79,000 here in the old Orange Bowl. And they don't play the Orange Bowl here anymore. It's up at Joe Rout, or what, Pro Players, excuse me. 600 media credentials last week for Virginia Tech and Miami.
You know, Gino Toretta talked about this a lot with Miami not drawing a lot of fans. And this is really, you know, I don't understand how teams making a run for a national championship and you only get 47,000 people.
And I doubt there's 47 here.
I don't see 47. And they had 77 for Florida State and more than 75 last week for Virginia Tech. And here's a team, are they supporting the team? Or are they coming to watch, you know, who's coming in from out of town?
Jason Gathers of Boca Raton.
And that's part of what Miami is. It's a city of attractions, and if there's a good team coming in town to play, then the people come out to the game.
There's your attendance, 47,520 if you're scoring with us at home. I don't think number 2, Miami, has hurt themselves in either the poll or the BCS today.
I think it's been an impressive showing. Again, the numbers might not look like they won as big as they would have expected to win. But if you look at the whole ball game, they played consistently all game long. They've done it in all aspects of the game. The big players stepped up. Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne stepped up and had great games.
And Walt Harris and the Panthers still need another win to get to a bowl game. Butch Davis and the Hurricanes, number 2 in the country, number 3 in the BCS. They could move up. 35-7 is your final score. For Holly Rowe and Don McPherson, I'm Rich Waltz. This has been a presentation